Track 6 is called Same Thing. I didn't have much with this song. I wrote that I really liked the tempo change from the fast verse to the slower chorus, and then it picks up again for the end. I don't have anything about that other than the fact that I like it. And then just another thing that I liked was at the very end, there's this bass slide to the end note that it was just really satisfying, and I really liked that it wasn't just like plucked or like it wasn't just like hammered on or something, but it was just like room, and so it sounded cool.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts on this one. Again, fast punk beat, it's a classic. I also like this song mostly for the chorus, the tempo change into the chorus. I think the chorus has some good drive to it when the drum pattern kind of establishes its rhythm for the chorus, and all the instruments are constantly pretty much just playing linear, just eighth notes over and over, do 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 over and over throughout it. So it's got good drive in that respect. A song I don't listen to or necessarily enjoy as much, just because it is in more of a minor key, where the intro and outro sections are not the traditional like major upbeat energetic stuff. So I'm not drawn to this song, I guess, mostly for that specific reason. But I actually do like the chorus a lot, so I still do listen to this song just because the chorus does have the good chord progression and is upbeat and it's got that energy to it. So, but overall, not super high on the list for me. So that's all I've got on that one.
Track 7 is called Big Man. Fans of The Story So Far and Parker and stuff believe they all say this song is about Kellen Capener, the old bassist for The Story So Far. And we never did get a full story as to why Kellen left the band, or we don't even know if he was necessarily kicked out or if he resigned himself. It sounded like he wanted to leave, but there was also, it felt like there was tension between Kellen and Parker. And anyway, we never did get the full story, but people are always like thinking that this song is about, that Parker wrote this song about Kellen, and I think that's funny. Anyway, I guess we'll never know. I liked, specifically at 2:11, I guess, I just liked the melody, and then I don't know why I'm so hung up on this lower one that he's doing, and I think that's just because maybe it's just his vocal voice coming out, his singing voice that I'm just like, I'm recognizing more because he usually yells and screams and stuff, but I just really like the lower notes that he's hitting within these harmonies, and it just sounds really nice. This song is, overall, I really like. I don't know lyrically if I have anything specific that I like about it, but I do love the energy of this song, and it does sound kind of, I don't think people are wrong in their assumptions that it could be about Kellen. I don't have any like hard facts that it is, but people think that it is, and I think it could be. I mean, he does say things that makes it seem like it could be. I mean, he could be talking about a girl, but the song is called Big Man, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this song's intro especially. Just every time I hear that little guitar riff start going off, I go, yes! Like, I just love this song. It's just got really good energy, and the chord progression, too, is just really, really fun. It's also fast-paced, too. It's got, like, this hook kind of rhythm to it where it's never playing. It's not just consistent 8th or 16th notes, but it's got some rhythm to it. That's really fun. And I just like the kind of big intro where the drums hit in for a second with the bass, and then it like plays for a full measure with just the guitar, and then the drums and bass hit another note, bam, bam, and then everything kicks in solidly throughout the rest of it. It's just got some nice build-up in the intro. But I just really, really love the overall vibe. I think it's mostly just that rhythm guitar that's playing, that main intro riff, and then how it continues playing that throughout. I think that's probably the reason why I like it so much. Just something about that little riff is really, really fun and has really good energy. So I put S tier vibe and intro for this song. I'm always stoked when this song comes on. I also enjoy the chorus. It's pretty good as well. But it's mostly, I'm just hooked on that initial intro kind of rhythm part. And then it also plays into the outro as well, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. Yeah, overall, I just felt like the energy of the song. I didn't have anything too crazy with like the lyrics or anything else like that. But this one is one of my top 3s. I think this is one of those songs where I don't think I could really compare it to another song that I know. Like, I don't think there's any other song that I listen to for the same reason that I listen to Big Man, if that makes sense. Like, something about this song is like, very unique for whatever reason. And it gives me like this really good, like positive vibe that I don't think any other song gives me quite the same vibe. I don't really know if that makes any sense or if it's possible to convey that, but and I don't even know why. Like I said, I don't know why that is the case, but like I said, every time it comes on, I go, oh yeah, like I love this song, Big Man, let's go. So yeah, that's all I got.
I love that. Track 8 is called Sour. I really like how explicit this song is. Like, not explicit in a vulgar or profane way, but like explicit in like, here's exactly what I'm saying type of way. Like, there's not many like metaphors or anything like hidden to like decipher that he normally like writes with. But I just really liked the writing style of this song is just not as typical for Parker, I guess. I just liked how straight up and easy the lyrics come across. You read it and there's nothing like hidden. Like, he literally just says, every time I think about you, I get sour, all the things we never got to do. Never want to see you cry like that, swear I can still hear your ghost. I never had a memory hurt so bad, I miss your smile the most. He just is just saying everything that he's feeling, and I just liked how just straight up it was, and that it wasn't... The end, though, I don't actually understand when he says, catch you one-on-one, bet I'm gonna take my time. When it's said and done, bet you'll still be a one-track mind. That is less explicit in whatever he's saying, but overall, I mean, I just noticed that. I was listening to it and I was like, oh, he's just kind of... I just like the way that he wrote the words in the song. I also liked the switch up from verse to chorus. This is one of the songs that what you were talking about earlier about how his style, it just like comes out in this song, I feel like. How it goes from the verse to the chorus and then back to the verse and then to the chorus again. There's no difference in the way that the verses sound. Like, both verses sound the same and both choruses sound the same, just stylistically and melodically and everything. But then, to, like, this bridge, it's not really a bridge, it's more like an outro because it doesn't go back to anything, but at the end, they drive up on this completely, like, different melody and this tempo, almost sounding like a completely different song. And it doesn't, like, end with a chorus, it just kind of goes verse, chorus, and then, boom, outro, and it just like totally sounds different, and I don't know, I really liked that switch up at the end. It kind of strays away from that typical style that he has. Yeah, I don't know, I realized that. I was like, oh, this is like this half of the song is totally different than the beginning and stuff. So yeah, that's all I had for this one.
Yeah, this one, again, the classic start off, fast punk beat. It's fun and insane throughout most of the song. I really only gravitate towards the song for, like you mentioned, the tempo change in the outro section. It's got more of the vibe that I enjoy. If the rest, or if the entire song was in the same kind of style as the first half, I probably wouldn't really ever listen to this song, just because I prefer more of the upbeat, energetic stuff, and that's what the second half really does, that kind of the outro. So that's really the only section that I like. But as I was listening through, I realized how many different tempo changes they do. I think it's funny because in our With the Punches podcast, I mentioned how one of their songs, they had a tempo change halfway through, and then they changed back to the original tempo. And I made the comment that like not very many songs do that. And then this song, or this album rather, is like full of tempo changes. Like every single song is a tempo change. So it's kind of funny, just thinking back on that. But yeah, overall, I enjoy the section when the tempo changes. It's got some good energy from there. Other than that, this one doesn't speak to me quite as much. So this one's on my lower 3 probably for this album. But
Track 9 is called Stuck Here. The line that stuck out to me, he says, hard to express when it's not in a song. And I just loved that line because he's been writing music for the majority of his life. I think he started the Story So Far when he was 17, I believe. But he had like a high school band called Blind Impression before then. So he's been writing songs for like ever since he was a teenager. And now he's like 32, I think. Yeah, I liked that he wrote hard to express when it's not in a song. Because that just like, I don't know, it just like struck me. I was like, oh, that's just so cool that poetry and stuff has been like this thing for him that has helped, writing things down has been like his job. And so I just liked that he said that. I thought that was cool. I really enjoyed again, because Parker doesn't yell that much in this record, like as compared to the story so far and stuff. He's like sings a little bit more and has more of a singy voice. But I really liked in the line, sewing up the deepest cuts that never really heal. He puts this grit in this yelliness. It's not yelly. It's just more gritty when he says sewing and never. He goes, sewing up the deepest cuts that never. He just has this grit on it. And I really liked that he included that because there isn't a lot of grit throughout his vocals. And so I thought that like stuck out to me. I didn't really realize that before until I noticed it and I was like, ooh. It almost reminds me of Out of It, when there's the single version of Out of It that was released in 2017, when he says, Out of It by The Story So Far, he says, my appropriate opiate has me out of it, out of it. And on the single version, he puts a lot of grit in the word out, but on the album version, he sings it more. He goes, out of it, instead of out. Like, he, has that aggression on it. And it just reminded me of that, how he did those with those two words in this song. The last point I had was at a minute 23, in between the chorus and the bridge, I guess. When the melody changes up, there's this Blink-esque riff vibe that's happening. And I really like, it sounds the riff kind of sounds like Blink-182's Untitled album, I think, is what I matched it to, but I enjoyed that little, not necessarily an Easter egg, but it just was a riff that sounded like a Blink riff. The whole band, Parker, Harry, Pat, they really like Blink-182. They're huge fans, and Parker has gone on to play with Blink in The Story So Far. He went on tour with them, and he also recently, on one of Blink-182's shows, Parker came out and sang a song called Carousel, one of Blink-182's songs, and I thought that was legit. I was like, wow, this kid who loves Blink-182 was able to tour with them and blah blah blah. He knows him now and stuff, and so I thought that was cool. Anyway, it was just cool that they added this little. There's a riff in here that sounds like a Blink-182 style riff, and I just thought that was cool that they took that influence and just put it in one of their songs.
Yeah, for me, this song also has a fast punk beat, classic. And then I really like the chorus on this song. It's got some good, how to describe it? Well, it's got good energy overall when all the instruments kick in, but it's cool how the rest of the instruments, or all the instruments basically, are playing at a fairly, fast, kind of normal pace, but the lyrics are a lot slower paced. He only sings 2 words per line, per bar of all the other instruments, and so it's just kind of this cool, there's always a word, a contrast, that's what the word I'm looking for. It's a cool contrast where the lyrics are sung really slow and held out, but then the instruments are playing at a fast, normal pace. And so it's kind of cool. I can never tell if the chorus is slow or fast because of that contrast. So I thought that was interesting. That always sticks out to me. And I also just really like the vocal, or the lyrics. You already brought them up about, and I'm holding back the way I really feel and sewing up the deepest cuts that never really heal. I just always like that. And it's also cool because during that part when he's singing it, it's also stands out a little bit more because all the instruments, the guitar and bass are still playing, but it's just a single note kind of thing that the rhythm guitar is playing. He's kind of playing this melodic harmony type thing going along. And then the drums, he's not playing any cymbals, he's just doing a bunch of tom work right there. And the vocals are also kind of filtered out slightly. There's some kind of effect on the vocals that also make it stand out more. It's not the present upfront vocals that you normally hear throughout. It's almost like this internal, he's thinking these lyrics as opposed to singing them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I always like that, the arrangement of that lets the vocals stick out, even though the vocals are filtered technically and they're not as present, but because the rest of the instruments kind of give the rest of the song room to breathe. The drums aren't playing the cymbals crazy loud, and the guitar isn't smashing power chords the whole time. It just kind of has this nice not empty, that's the wrong word, but I guess relative, this emptier sound where it's oh, okay, I'm just focusing on the lyrics, and then everything kicks in really hard during the chorus and has more energy. So I just like the arrangement of this song for those reasons there. Yeah, those were my thoughts on that one.
Last track is called Save Your Spot. This one is probably my favorite on the record. Again, I can't choose between this one and Both Sides, but I love this song. And I think it's mostly in, well, definitely the energy and like the vibe of it, but also I really love the chorus, the lyrics, obsessive, I need it, I can't get over you, you've got me, I mean it, I'm just so into you. I love that. Oh, it's so cool. I love those lyrics, and I love that he says them over and over and over again. And I just love the energy behind them. And like when he says it and all the stuff is going on and stuff, it's just really, it's a hype song. And then just like one other point that I had was I realized that he says I a lot in this song. And typically the way I noticed that Parker usually, mostly in the story so far, but just like forever, he's always said the way he says he always leads into it with a W, saying like why instead of just I. He puts like a w on it before he goes into the I sound. And if you just look back on like any Story So Far song, you'll hear this, but he doesn't do that in this song. And I don't know how or why it stood out to me, but I just noticed when he says I in this, anytime that he says the letter or the word I, it's just sharp and firm, and he doesn't have this w sound on it. Like so for example, he says I need it, not why need it, like wah. Anyway, I just noticed that in this song that he doesn't say I in the typical way that he usually says it, and I just thought that was, I don't know if he did it on purpose, like if he thought to not sing it like that because he normally does, but I like that he didn't put that W sound on it, and that he just made it that firm I need it, I can't get over you. That's just something random that I noticed, and I don't know if other people have noticed that in his voice and the way that he sings, but that's what I liked, that aspect of it.
For this one, I also really enjoy the chorus. This one has a lot of really big energy, and I like the lyrics that you pointed out as well. This song really sticks out to me specifically for the chorus. I really like the overall energy of this one. I also like kind of the point I made in the previous song as well, where leading into the chorus, the first line, the instruments all cut out and you just hear, the rhythm guitar playing some power chords along with the vocals, but the vocals are like panned off to the side a little bit and kind of filtered out a little bit, and then it all kicks in during the chorus. I really like the contrast of that. It's good arrangement in my opinion. Yeah, that's really the main thing I have for this one. This one, again, is also like on my top 3, mostly because of the chorus. I just think is really, really well done. And there's not, even though there's not a whole lot for me to like dissect with this one, I just really enjoy the overall vibe of it. And so I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, that's mainly it for me.
Yeah, I agree. There's this whole record I really like, but there's not, like, most of my points were me just saying, oh, I like this, I love that, and like that's mostly what I say with all these podcasts, which is fine, but like whatever. But yeah, I don't really know like what to, like, I don't know necessarily why I like it, I just know that I do. And it's, yeah, I felt like that for most of this album. Just has solid songs, but I forgot that we didn't give it a out of 10 for our last one, but what would, I mean, we can do it in this one, I guess, but mine would probably be really high for Farewell. It would probably, I think if I were to rate that With the Punches record, the LP and the EP together, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm thinking it's like either an 8 or a 9, like high 8, low 9 for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say an 8 was like my initial thought right away. If it was sectioned out into just the original album, LP, and then the EP, even though I guess technically the first one I think was also maybe an EP. It's like 7 songs or 8 songs, so it's not like a full album, but it's not an EP either. So I don't know. But anyway, if it was separated, I would definitely give the last half of it, the original EP. That one for me at least is like 9.5, like maybe 10. Like that is the pinnacle of like, if there's one EP for the rest of my life, that is the one. Like that one's super good. So yeah, overall I think for that whole Farewell album though, yeah, I was going to say an 8 as well, because there's a lot of really good songs on that one. Probably 8.5. Yeah, I don't know, maybe higher.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of
good.
really good ones on there. I think maybe the only reason I don't go 9 or higher than that is just because there are a few songs that I don't care as much for.
Right.
At least like memorable ones where I'm like, oh dang, like that song's really good. Which is funny because there's a lot of songs on here, like I said, that are like S tier
Right.
or S plus tier. Like it was like chock full.
Yeah.
But there's also a couple of them on there as well that I guess dilute my score a little bit. Where if there was like 2 songs on there that weren't there, it would probably be like 9.5. But that one overall very, very high. Yes.
For this LP, this No Pressure album, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely not as high for me. I really love The Story So Far. I mean, I really love this album too, but my first thought was like 6. But I feel like that's like low. But I love this album. It's just not one that I would like choose to listen to front to back like all the time. Like it doesn't have that many standouts for me. But it's a good record overall, but I don't know. That's my thoughts. I don't really know what I would give it. But
yeah, I think for me, I'm leaning towards like a 7.5. I really do, maybe even an 8. That 7.5, even that sounds low. But like, this is actually an album that I personally would listen to front to back because I actually really like a lot of these songs on here. And even though not every single one is my favorite, I enjoy the overall vibe of the whole album. I was kind of surprised because I think there's definitely not any one song that I would say I hate or like I really dislike. Mm-hmm. There's like one song that I don't care for. I think it was the song Sour overall is like my least favorite probably. But even with that song in here, I personally at least really enjoy all of these songs. Pretty much any No Pressure song. Their first EP was really, really good. I like all of those songs. Their other singles that they've put out, I really like those ones. So for me at least, No Pressure is pretty hard for them to not have something that hits for me at least.
Yeah.
Which is why I think like 7.5 for me on this album is pretty solid. There's a lot of songs I really like. So I think that's probably an appropriate score for me. I'll leave it at that.
Nice. Yeah. That's all for this time. We'll see you next week.